This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. Reports from the Commission on Audit for the 2024 fiscal year have uncovered significant fiscal and administrative irregularities within both the Cebu city and provincial governments. The audit cited issues of mismanagement, procedural violations and possible wasted public funds. In Cebu City, medical equipment worth nearly 71 million pesos, purchased for the Cebu City Medical Center, has remained idle for over 5 years. State auditors found the equipment, which includes a digital radiofluoroscopy system and an X-ray machine, languishing in a warehouse, leading to expired warranties and deterioration. The non-utilization was attributed to inadequate planning. COA also flagged the city's 19.8 million pesos expenditure on 92 consultants, citing irregularities such as vague terms of reference, hiring for roles that could be filled by regular employees and paying for services before contracts were legally perfected. Meanwhile, a 12 million peso artificial intelligence-aided traffic system and 4 motorcycles donated for the South Road properties were never recorded in the city's books. This omission resulted in the traffic system becoming non-functional after damage and the motorcycles being improperly used without official registration. At the provincial level, Governor Pamela Berricuatro has ordered the recovery of 143 million pesos in disallowed and suspended expenditures from previous administrations. The directive followed a COA report detailing financial liabilities spanning from 2013 to 2025. The provincial legal office is now tasked with compelling the recipients to return the funds. 2 members of the Pampanga Drug Enforcement Unit were arrested for allegedly robbing a printing shop in Mabalacat City, Pampanga on Wednesday night, the 16th of July. Investigation said 5 unidentified armed men wearing black jackets, bonnets, and face masks barged inside the establishment in Barangay Taban at around 10 p.m. The owner and companion were accused of involvement in illegal drugs and the closed circuit television camera system was dismantled. They were hogtied and the suspects seized 9 assorted high-end smartphones and fled on board a black Toyota Vios with no license plates. The victims freed themselves and reported the incident to the police. A follow-up operation resulted in the recovery of the getaway vehicle in Bamban, Tarlac. Police recovered a document that linked the vehicle to members of the Provincial Drug Enforcement Unit Pampanga Police Provincial Office. Lawmen coordinated with the unit and 3 suspects, the 2 lawmen and a civilian, were arrested and the stolen items were recovered. PRO3 Director Police Brigadier General Ponce Rogelio I. Penones Jr. denounced the suspects and assured the public that their internal cleansing program remains firm and uncompromising. We do not and will never tolerate abuse of power by anyone in our ranks, Penones said. This incident only strengthens our resolve to cleanse our organization of erring personnel and uphold the highest standards of professionalism and integrity. The suspects have been charged with robbery with intimidation and attempted kidnapping, and face administrative cases before the Philippine National Police. Their 2 remaining civilian accomplices are the subjects of a manhunt operation. The Commission on Audit has ordered the Tourism Promotions Board to pay Dentsu Philippines, Incorporated 102.3 million pesos and to return the firm's performance bond of 29.9 million pesos for the development and implementation of the media plan for It's More Fun in the Philippines in 2015. On top of ordering the payment and refund, the COA asked the Office of the Ombudsman to investigate and file appropriate charges against those responsible for the botched contract that caused significant financial loss to the government. The TPB is an attached agency of the Department of Tourism and responsible for marketing and promoting the Philippines as a tourist destination, both locally and internationally. TPB and Dentsu entered into a contract for services dated the 9th of February, 2015 for the procurement of the development of media plan for January to the 20th of June 15. It's More Fun in the Philippines project was budgeted at 600 million pesos. Under the contract, Dentsu is obligated to develop a media plan for the year 2015 on or before the 30th of June, 2015, while TPB is obligated to pay a professional fee of 2% of the total approved and implemented media placements. But even after Dentsu had fulfilled its obligations, TPB refused to issue a certificate of completion, certificate of final acceptance and release Dentsu's performance bond. Arbitration proceedings were instituted, and in its final award, the arbitral tribunal ordered TPB to pay Dentsu 102,313,174 pesos to release the certificate of completion. as well as to release a performance bond of 29,994,400 pesos. Dentsu likewise filed a petition to confirm the domestic arbitral award before the Regional Trial Court of Makati City Branch 148, which confirmed the award but deferred its enforcement as the claim should be brought before the COA. The case was then filed before the COA, which granted the petition. The final award in favor of Dentsu should not be disturbed. It is only proper for TPB to pay the amounts awarded by the arbitral tribunal, the COA said. However, this commission finds that this case should be forwarded to the Office of the Ombudsman for proper investigation and filing of appropriate action against the then Chief Executive Officer and other persons liable or involved in the contract at that time, for causing significant financial loss to the government, it added. The 8-page decision was signed by Chairperson Gamaliel Acordaba and Commissioner Mario G. Lipana. Commissioner Roland Cafe Pondoc dissented. Police Regional Office 3 Director Police Brig Ponce Rogelio I. Penones Jr. said 2 policemen were relieved from their posts after a viral confrontation with a truck driver on MacArthur Highway in Angeles City last week. We do not condone any form of unprofessional behavior from either drivers or uniformed personnel, he said. While we understand the driver's reaction, we would like to clarify that the action of our personnel was based on their immediate judgment at the time to ensure road safety and order. Nevertheless, we recognize that such situations should always be approached with professionalism, calmness, and respect, Penones said. If any lapses are confirmed, appropriate administrative measures will be implemented, Penones said. A police mobile patrol unit and a truck were traversing the highway when the patrol car turned left from the middle lane. The truck abruptly stopped and the driver honked at the police car. Police chased the truck, flagged it down, and asked for the driver's license and the vehicle's registration. A video of the incident was recorded and uploaded online and currently under review. The video was posted on social media by hundreds of netizens. The Office of the Ombudsman has ordered a 6-month preventive suspension of Government Service Insurance System President and General Manager Jose Arnulfo Wick Veloso, along with 6 other executives, over the purchase of 1.45 billion pesos in preferred shares from Alt Energy Holdings Corporation in November 2023. In a 7-page order dated the 11th of July and released to the media on Tuesday, the anti-graft body directed the suspension of Veloso and the following GSIS officials. Executive Vice President Michael Praxedes, Executive Vice President Jason Teng, Vice President Aaron Samuel Chan, Vice President Abigail Cruz, Francisco Officer 2 Jamie Leon Warren, Acting Office 4 Alfredo Pablo. As stated in the order, the Ombudsman said it found sufficient grounds to impose a preventive suspension on Veloso and 6 others, citing strong evidence showing their guilt for grave misconduct, gross neglect of duty, and violation of reasonable office rules and regulations. The order is deemed immediately executory under Section 27(1) of Republic Act No. 6770, or the Ombudsman Act of 1989. According to the anti-graft body, the suspension stemmed from a recommendation based on the results of an investigation dated the 30th of January this year. On November 7, 2023, the GSIS subscribed to 100 million preferred shares of Alt Energy at 14.50 pesos per share under a private placement. Citing the ROI, the Ombudsman said the perpetual preferred shares purchased by the government agency were acquired without the approval of the GSIS Board of Trustees. Investigators also found that the 7 officials violated provisions of the 2022 GSIS investment policy guidelines due to the following. As stated in the order, the perpetual preferred shares were not listed with the Philippine Stock Exchange on the dates of the execution of the agreement and payment of the subscription. The investment was non-compliant with the minimum market capitalization and exceeded the free float market capitalization cap. The preferred shares were purchased without the necessary endorsements from the Assets and Liabilities Committee and the Risk Oversight Committee for the approval of the Board of Trustees. The Commission on Audit has instructed the Department of Public Works and Highways Regional Office 3 to pay JAD Builders 6% interest and attorney's fees on top of the 2.37 million pesos as rentals for various heavy equipment used in the construction of Gugu Dike in Pampanga. In a decision, the COA partially granted the petition of Thelma G. Domingo of JAD Builders based on the 6 February 2012 ruling of the Regional Trial Court in Bulacan. Initially, the COA granted the principal claim but denied JAD Builders' claim of interest, attorney's fees, and costs of suit since they were not awarded by the RTC. JAD Builders contested the 10th of June 2019 decision of the COA and filed a motion for reconsideration on the 19th of July 2019. The COA said that JAD Builder's motion was filed beyond the reglementary period. However, it said that since the case involves a claim that had already been adjudicated by the RTC, the Commission decided to relax its procedural rules and evaluated the motion for reconsideration based on its merits. It noted that the RTC decision has already reached finality and may no longer be modified in any respect, even if the modification is meant to correct erroneous conclusions of facts and law. However, it said that while it respects the final, immutable, and unalterable character of RTC decision, it decided to grant the pleaded 6% per annum from the time of filing of the complaint before the RTC until fully paid. The COA denied with finality JAD Builder's claim for costs of suit. The 6-page decision was signed by Chairperson Gamaliel Acordaba and Commissioner Mario G. Lipana. Commissioner Roland Cafe Pondoc issued a dissenting opinion. The Ombudsman suspended Mayor Faranomaran of Buruan, Leyte, for 6 months without pay for allegedly falsifying a certificate of marriage by making it appear that she solemnized it. Ranomaran was administratively charged with grave misconduct, serious dishonesty, and conduct prejudicial to the best interest of service when she made it appear that she solemnized a marriage on the 10th of December, 2014, but did not appear during the ceremony. The complainants argued that Ranomaran only sent a representative to have them sign the marriage certificate together with the witnesses. These acts, they said, allegedly violate Article 3 of the Family Code, which requires that a marriage ceremony take place in the presence of the solemnizing officer and the contracting party's personal declaration that they take each other as husband and wife in the presence of not less than 2 witnesses. Article 4 of the Family Code states that any party who committed irregularity in the formal requisites of marriage, such as the conduct of a wedding ceremony, could be held civilly, criminally, and administratively liable. Ranomaran presented documents that she solemnized the marriage, banked on the presumption of regularity in the performance of official duties, and noted the recantation of the witnesses. However, the Ombudsman, in its 12th of July, 2025 decision, said that the respondent's act or omission has tarnished the integrity of her office and committed conduct prejudicial to the best interest of service. Ranomaran said that the case was politically motivated since it was initiated by the son of her political opponent. I understand that such accusations can cause concern, and I want to assure you that I have full faith in the legal process. I will address these allegations thoroughly and appropriately within the established legal framework. The truth, as it always does, will prevail through the proper legal channels. A village chief in Calbayog City, Samar, was killed while his wife was wounded after unidentified gunmen opened fire on the couple in broad daylight on Wednesday, the 23rd of July, police said. The victims were aboard a tricycle, locally known as a timbal, on their way home past 1 p.m. when the attack occurred along the boundary between the villages of Ginbayoan Norte and Ginbayoan Sur. Police identified the victims as Anastasio Catalan, 59, village chief of Barangay Tapari, and his wife, Remedia, 53, according to Lieutenant Colonel Dinviravita, Calbayog City Police Chief. The police were alerted about the incident through a phone call from a concerned citizen at around 1:15 p.m. Responding officers arrived to find Catalan slumped over his motorcycle in a supine position, already lifeless, while his wife had already been taken to the Calbayog District Hospital. Initial investigation revealed that 2 unidentified men on a motorcycle approached the victims from behind and fired without warning, hitting Catalan in the head while his wife suffered a gunshot wound to her left thigh. The suspects fled in the opposite direction after the shooting. Scene investigators recovered a fired cartridge case from a caliber .45 pistol. Authorities are currently conducting a thorough investigation to determine the motive and identify the perpetrators. A barangay chairman was gunned down and his wife was wounded on their way home in Calbayog City, Samar on Wednesday. Police Lieutenant Colonel Dinviravita, Calbayog City Police Chief, identified the fatality as Anastasio Catalan, 59, chairman of Barangay Tapi, Calbayog City, and the wounded as Remedia, 53. Investigation said the victims were on their way home on board a tricycle when 2 men appeared and shot Anastasio in the head. Remedia was wounded in the left thigh. The suspects fled on board a motorcycle. Anastasio died on the spot and Remedia was taken to the Calbayog District Hospital. Recovered from the crime scene was a caliber .45 cartridge case. Rivita said that one of the suspects was arrested in a pursuit operation after Remedia identified him. That's all for this week. I'll see you next Friday with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.